Hi, I am with the team of Qala, Netflix's upcoming film. I'll start with the captain of the ship, Anvita. How are you?
Very well.
Let's begin right away. The introductions will come later, of course. But tell me about the genesis of the film, the idea, and the characters. How did that come about?
Well, actually, this happened in 2013. I was toying with the idea of writing a story about a mother and daughter relationship and about the impact it has. It's such a powerful presence in your life, your primary caregiver. And therein begins our journey of how we receive ourselves, what we think of ourselves. So I was thinking of that idea, and it so happened that I happened to meet Vishal Dadlani for a coffee, and we were talking about the music industry and the music of old and the singers of old and the composers of the 30s and the 40s, the magical time of when melody was queen. It was that beautiful time. And somehow, once I left that meeting, the two thought and that conversation just kind of merged into my story, and it became about a story set in the world of music.
Now, this is for both of you. This is not the first time you are doing what I'd call a period piece. You for Byomkesh for Bulbul. So, timeless beauties, both of you. What is it about that era that sort of draws both of you to stories set in that time?
I feel everything is beautiful in that time. And as Anvita has also spoken about it before today itself, that people knew how to understand beauty and the aesthetics of the households, the crockeries, the wall clocks, furnitures, carpets, beds, pillows. I mean, everyday
one could just go on.
Everything looks like a piece of art, and you get transported into that world, and you feel like it would have been amazing if we were born at that time. And I think as actors, it's a privilege for us that we can live and tell stories of human beings who have lived that life in that era. So
that's what you feel, right? That's
beautiful.
I could see the expression on your face when you said that wish we could have been born then.
Yeah. So Anvita is someone who's introduced me to old Hindi cinema, and my dad was always a fan of, old Hindi films. And he used to sit on Sundays and watch black and white movies, and we used to be like, as kids, this is so boring, why are you watching it? Like that time we didn't understand the importance of those stories. But now I know how, for me, it's the simplicity of those times that, is really important to me, because I think today we've complicated everything.
Yeah.
So the more simple it is, I think the more beautiful it looks and it feels. And I think I have always wished, whenever I've seen old movies, I've always wished that, I wish I was an actor then, and I wish I could, wear those clothes and make my hair that way and just look pretty and just sing songs. And then Anvita has, done that for me. So yeah.
Babil, I'll come to you. I know you have a big aversion to the word debut, so I'm going to avoid that.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's
You're the first one.
Out of it. My question is, as your first project, the first time you'll be seen, are there any special nerves around it that, okay, this is the first work of mine that goes out to the audience? This is the first time I'm making myself vulnerable on this scale.
Yeah, of course. Also because I'm always comparing myself to the legacy, and it's bhar hai. So, and also I am a person who, if I'm doing something, I want to do it the best I can. Right. So as an actor, we shot this 2 years ago. I've grown as an actor a lot. Right. So you always have that key. I wish I would have done this, I wish I would have done that. But I also believe that जो आर्ट आप तब बनाते हो, वो उसकी खुद की भी जर्नी होती है, और आप अपने इंडिविजुअल ईगो को उसमें नहीं लेके आ सकते.
Right.
So वो इसकी जो जर्नी है वो ये ले रही है.
And trust me, it's not about 2 years. Even if you do something 2 minutes later, as someone who writes, I'll tell you, when I read the sentence that I've just written, it's like, yaar, अच्छा नहीं है. Once you're doing it, you're very confident. But once you've done it and you look back at your work, and these people will agree.
It feels right when you're doing it, but later you are your own critic.
Worst critic. Yeah. True. I'll come to Anvita and Tripti both. When I watched the trailer, and many people like me had certain Black Swan vibes. It's not about the content as such, but about the vibe, the general aura this was giving. About two people in performing arts sort of rivals and everything, apart from the mother-daughter angle that there is. Was that ever on your mind, or was it a surprise or a revelation when people called it out?
No, it was interesting because it came when I was in prep, so not when I was writing it or anything like that. It's also to do with there's that sequence that you see in the trailer where there's those fans and these dancers move and she's standing in the middle. My production designer was also like, she actually said, it feels like like a ballet, you know, and that led to people saying, actually, yeah, Black Swan and all. So yes, it is a psychological drama, and I am in august company if my film's name has been taken with Aronofsky's Babe. So thank you, but that's another league already.
Yeah. It's not about as much as a league, but I think even to be mentioned in the same bracket is flattering.
In the same breath, it's quite amazing.
Same question for you, Tripti. You know, people would compare you to Natalie Portman for that matter. I mean, did you ever think of her when you were playing Qala? B, what do you have to say about the comparisons based on just the trailer? People haven't even seen the thing.
I mean, you do feel good when your film is being compared to a film like Black Swan and Natalie. I mean, she's so good, and you know, it definitely feels good. But this particular sequence that everybody is talking about, is a surprise for everybody, and I think it's going to blow everybody's mind. And we had our there's this guy called Ashley Lobo. He's a very famous choreographer, very famous acting coach.
Right.
We had our workshops with him, both of us, for that particular song, for that particular sequence. And it was just so magical to be in his company, because that man itself is like, he's a creative genius. Right. And you know, when you work with him, it's, I don't even have words to describe how you feel, because it's like he just makes you forget reality. So and
he gives you practical ways to connect.
Right.
Yeah. And I think that really helped us.
Even when we were on set, he would just, you know, whisper something into our ears, and we would just, you know, like that, go into the zone. So he's that powerful. And I think what he's done to that sequence, what Anvitaa has done to that sequence, is just beautiful.
Eagerly awaiting.
Yeah.
Swastika, now you have a character that has so many layers and it's so complex. And when you play such a character, there are two ways you can go about it. It can be either a switch on, switch off, that once there's action, you go there. Or you have your method, and even if the camera is off, you're certainly to a certain level there. Now, when you play a character who is justified in their own thoughts, but is certainly a negative influence or could harm others, how do you self-justify the actions when you are imbibing them?
This sounds very complicated, what you just told me, but I really never felt or thought of it as something very complex. Me and Anvitaa, we really spoke about Urmila since the time she was a child. So when we see her on screen, the past, her life that we don't see, that we don't know of, that's not heard of, that was there in my headspace. And I mean, sitting there quite loaded. So I knew Urmila in and out. I still know her, but yeah, we have finished the film. And so my journey has been from there, and I've taken everything that we have shared as how Urmila can become a person of flesh and blood. And then I have, I think, borrowed things from my own life, my mind, and also I think just went with my, whatever I felt right at that moment when she said action, and how my emotions went along with my co-actors. I have received a lot from them, so that also enhances your performance. And yeah, I've lived the moment, so it didn't look something which was very, you know, like, oh my God, how am I going to do it? It always felt, until I was there on the set, like when I was getting ready, it was like, oh my God, we have such difficult scenes today. What if I'm not emotionally there? What if I'm not feeling sad enough, or I'm not feeling angry enough? But once we are there in our costume and we look the part and we reach the set and we are in that house, then everything, it's like switch on, switch off.
So I'm going to wrap it up with one final question. This is to Babil and Tripti both. You know, whenever a performer's child comes into the industry, the word nepotism is thrown about so freely that it's not even funny. With you, that hasn't happened. To my understanding, it's because of the goodwill and admiration that your father had. That nobody even questions your entry because they see it's Irrfan's son. He has come on his own. Why do you see that this question has not come about, even though every star kid is sort of thrown that once they enter?
Sir, first of all, I think Baba's entire work was always about the connect with people. He didn't care about awards. He didn't care about who's producing him, who's directing him. उनको पता है मुझे ये character play करना है और वो character वो इंसानों से ही तो लाते हैं ना. So it was all about the connect with people. So that has come into me. I don't think my mother can ever pick up the phone and ask for a favor. I have to go give auditions. नहीं तो ऐसी मुझे मार पड़ेगी ना घर पे. तो वो there has to be work. हमारा वो family का संस्कार ही वो है. मैं if there is no possibility of breaking that, I have to give the auditions. Abhi bhi I am giving auditions and I get rejected a lot. But there is no chance if my mama was like, Babil, you have to ace this audition. You have to ace it. I really want you to work in this project. और मैंने वो audition अगर हक दिया या I couldn't do well. She will be so angry and she will be upset with me, but she will never pick up the phone and be like, yaar, kara do. You know what I mean? Like never. That is against our values, and I think people understand that, and also in my behavior वो आता है ना upbringing का असर, तो वो लोगों के साथ connect है और अच्छा लगता है बहुत. I think I really love connecting with people.
As a parting note, does he have Star Kid vibes on set?
No, he doesn't. Thank God. वरना मैं वैसी नहीं होती, मैं वहाँ बैठी.
Guys, I wish I had more time with you guys, but looking forward to the film, and I hope everybody loves it. Everybody finds it as amazing as you have the experience of filming it. Thank you for the time and all the best for Qala.
Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so much. Thank you so much.